Hey, I'm Scott and welcome back to the channel and to my humble little home office. So in this video I want to cover the magic move in the golf swing that basically separates the long hitters from those who don't hit it very long. Basically your top amateur golfers, your professionals from the typical amateur golfer. This move in the golf swing is what allows a good player to hit it much further off the tee than the average golfer. So what we're going to do is something a little bit different. I'm going to take a look at a couple different golf swings. We're going to look at Rory McIlroy's swing. We're going to look at my swing. My swing is nowhere near as pretty as Rory's, obviously, but we do something similar in the golf swing, and that allows us both to hit the golf ball pretty far. I don't hit it nearly as far as what he does. Back in the day, when I was much younger, I created a lot of swing speed. Given the equipment that we were using, I was still playing with persimmon drivers all the way into my mid-30s. So the swing speed is a lot more elevated now compared to back then because of the equipment changes. The shafts are different, they're lighter, the drivers are longer, so that allows you to generate even more speed. But anyhow, I digress. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe the typical amateur golf swing and why they lose a lot of power in the swing. And then we're going to get to taking a look at Rory's swing and then my swing, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so the biggest issue I see with most amateur golfers and why they struggle to get much distance off the tee is this one issue. They get to the top of their backswing and then they start the downswing with the upper body, either going this way with their upper body or this way. So it's this way, the shoulders lead in one way or the other. Either the shoulders lead going forward or they lead in the rotation of the downswing. So I see a bunch of different variations of that. One major variation is the hips stop turning, the shoulders stop turning, and then the arms go way back like this. So they're trying to get extra power. The problem is now that they've gone past parallel, they've got to unwind with the upper body first. And then they get that early release anyway, and then they lose power. So some golfers that are a little bit more athletic than others can still get some decent speed from that move, but most of the time they just lose that energy right in here rather than here through impact. So there's, like I said, there's different versions of how this happens. So the main issue is the upper body starts the downswing, either the rotation or the moving forward this way. So now we're going to take a look at a couple different golf swings. My golf swing, we're going to look at Rory's first and then my golf swing and show you that little magic move that is what allows us to hit the ball a lot further than the typical golfer. Okay, so now I've got a slow motion video of Rory's golf swing here, and we're going to look at a couple different things. So first let me take it up to near the top of his swing. Okay, so we're going to hit the start and pause button a couple of different times just so you can see what's going on here. So we're going to get it close to the position that I want him to be in. Now, I want you to focus on two parts of his swing. His left hip, and then, so in here, and then his hands. So you see where his hands are right now, and pay attention to where his hands are in relation to his head and these leaves up here on the tree and his hips. I go back just a touch here. Okay, so Pay attention to the hands and his left hip. Now, what I want you to see and pay attention to, and you'll be able to pause and replay this video as well. Watch that left hip, and you want to start and pause this video as well a bunch of times. Now watch his left hip moving and pay attention. It's hard to look at both spots at the same time, so you're going to have to play around with this on your own. I was trying to draw some lines with this recording software and I couldn't do it. So he moves that left hip going forward. That means he's starting to shift his weight into the downswing, and yet his hands are going to keep going just slightly into his backswing. So let's do that again. Show that little move again. So he's not quite at the top of his swing. And now his hips are going to go, and those hands are going to keep going just another inch or two before they start to go into the downswing. Now they're dropping down, and now the club is coming down. But you can see how far his hip has moved. So pay attention to this part in the fence there. That must be a shrub in the background, and watch where his left hip is in comparison to that. So you can see that that left hip has moved into that piece of that shrub behind that fence, and those hands have kept going into the backswing a little bit. And now he unwinds and lets her rip. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see this a little bit better with my swing. The swing speed in this video is a little bit slower with my swing. So I'm getting near the top of my swing, and I'm going to pause. Now I want you to pay attention to my left hip, and you can see I've got on my garage, there's this tube that houses some electrical wiring. So watch my left hip in relation to that piece on the garage, and then pay attention to where my hands are in the swing. So you can see the spacing between my hands and my head at this point. They're about as high as they can go into my swing. And now watch that left hip. The left hip's going to start going forward before my hands are done in the backswing. So that's your magic move. The magic move is basically your lower body gets moving in the downswing, starting with the weight shift into that front foot, and the hip starting to move forward as well before your hands are finished completing the backswing. So your hips have already finished turning, and I'll show you. My hips are basically done right about, they're about done right about there. My shoulders continue to turn, and then they stop, and then the hands, then the left hip starts to go before the hands are finished moving in the backswing. And then that drops the hand straight down. And then that allows me to create that lag. Now I have more lag. I create more lag in my downswing than a lot of people because of the flexibility in my wrists. So that's why you see that position there. That's why you see this angle here with that club shaft leaning really hard towards my target in comparison to where my left forearm is in this part of the swing. Okay, so that's having a look at Rory's swing and my swing. Okay, so that magic move is very subtle. All it really is that you have to start your transition with the lower body. So the transition into the downswing begins by a subtle shift onto that left foot, and you can see that with the left hip moving forward first and then starting to unwind. So that all happens before we complete our backswing with our hands. So the sequence goes, the shoulder, the hips stop turning first in the backswing because they can't move as much as what our shoulders can. The shoulders then continue on past the hips, and then you create that tension up in here with your front shoulder and in your lat. And then the hips start moving. The weight starts shifting into that front foot, and the hips start to unwind. So the hips start moving forward, and then they start to unwind, and then that releases that tension in the upper body. So the typical amateur golfer is going to do the opposite. They're going to get into the top of that swing, and their first move is going to be either a movement forward with their upper body, or they're going to rotate first with those shoulders. So, and that's why they're going to lose club head speed. Now, the way to learn how to get this movement down is that you need to practice the kinematic sequence of the swing. So I've got a video that you should check out. Click on that link in the top corner of this video, and I explain further what that kinematic sequence is. You're going to have to practice that. I recommend working without a club in your hand at first, and then you want to do slow motion golf swings so you can build that muscle memory over time. So good luck with that, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out scottcolegolf.com, and we'll see you down the road.